Community Designs is proudly brought to you by Design Build Expo, Australia's ultimate trade event for architecture, building, construction and design professional communities. Visit designbuildexpo.com.au for more information.
Hi, I'm Monique Brady-Ward and this is Community Designs. Today we're standing amongst the street art in front of Youth Project's living room in Hosier Lane, Melbourne. Joining me today is Peter Kennon from Elenberg Fraser. So Peter, tell me about Youth Projects.
Well, the Youth Projects is a not-for-profit organisation that provides services for the homeless. In Elenberg Fraser, we're part of a team that contributed to the new renovation.
So let's go inside. Introducing Chairwoman of Youth Projects, Melanie Raymond. Melanie, please tell us about the brief for the space.
The brief for the space was really to create an environment that would allow us to make the most impact on homelessness, to provide an environment where we could engage with people who need our help, where we could put in place the services and programs that we think make the most difference, and to do it in a home-like environment. We didn't want people to feel institutionalised. We wanted them to feel immediately welcome when they walk through the door.
And tell us about the idea of homeness.
The idea of homeness was about creating an environment that's not institutional, that is not a reminder of things that might be traumatic in their past, a sense of normality and connection to other people and the life skills and the sorts of things that a lot of people who are homeless don't have access to. It's a very different idea because many other services are not designed in this way and are appointment-based. They don't have the same drop-in, casual feel around come in and get some help. It's okay to just be. The way we can just be at home, you don't have to explain yourself, you can relax and you can decide what it is you feel like doing.
Peter, tell us why this project is really important.
I think the way we looked at it architecturally was the term home is so subjective, and to create something that feels like home into an aesthetic output was quite a challenge, and particularly to create something that feels like home for the many different clients that the youth projects have. We researched the idea of home architecturally, and it's actually something that's drawn from your own memory. As a child, you have a strong sense of place from where you grew up, and recreating something like that for a large group of people was quite challenging. So we looked into what the youth project's space had been for the last decade. And with our design output, we didn't want to change too many things because the clients have already a strong sense of place in this building. It was a simple upgrade and improving the amenity of what is already such a successful organisation.
Tell us why it's significant.
The project's really significant because it's outside normal funding guidelines and funding opportunities. Nobody wants to fund this sort of work. They want to fund other things, but not the sort of capital upgrades. Just don't get done. So our opportunities were few and far between, and we'd had some really failed attempts. So when Elenberg Fraser and Hickory got together, this was a really once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for people who were generous enough to do the work pro bono, but also really genuinely wanted to understand what we were on about. So we were able to work with them on a brief while we had to learn how architects and building companies work, and they had to learn how and why we do things. But the opportunity for this kind of upgrade was just not there. We would still be in our crumbling old facility if we weren't able to be connected in the way we were.
And was it a rewarding experience?
It was very rewarding because we knew for years what we needed to do. We knew what we thought would work, what would make the impact, and it was very frustrating to continually be told no, that there were not opportunities for anyone to invest in what we were doing, yet all the while homelessness was growing. So to actually see it come to fruition finally was very, very exciting for all of us, and to give everybody here the space and the environment to be their best and do their best work, and that's so significant to us.
Was there a lot of workshopping or I guess consultation with the clients, and did you have sort of round tables, discussions, and how did you actually articulate that brief?
It was partly working with what clients had already told us about what they needed, and some of it was obvious with the rise in homelessness and the increased pressure on us. We needed more showers, more laundries, we needed an extra toilet. That was fairly straightforward. We needed to upgrade our food facilities given the nature of hunger amongst people who are homeless. But also we worked with staff, we worked with the management team, and we had numerous workshops with all of the stakeholders involved so that everyone could be on the same page and be able to say what they can do, what they can't do, what's possible. And after that, it seemed to fall together really quickly. I mean, I don't think anybody else gets this amount of work done in the time frame that this massive upgrade got done. So, we're enormously grateful. This was an old and dingy space that didn't get used to its potential. So now what we have is some breakout space, an opportunity to work intensively with a group or an individual to give more dignity and privacy for people. It's a place where, as a charity, we get to sort out the donations as well. People are very generous and want to donate to us, but we were in a jumbled mess before. There was no properly designed way of keeping what we had, keeping track of it. The pace is very fast here, so we didn't really have the time, so it was getting very messy and we didn't really know what we had in stock, and now we're able to store things neatly, but in a multi-purpose sense, use this room for other things as well. It's private. A person who is homeless can come in and have the dignity of choice over what clothing they might want to have, try something on. Our volunteer hairdresser works from here. So we're getting a different kind of use out of this space every day of the week, and that's a major change for us. It just adds to our potential and what we can do.
Yeah, it's a delightful space. Do you want to tell us about the lockers?
The lockers. The program of home is built up of three components. There's a public space, a semi-public space, and a private space. And this room in particular was designated to be more of a private space where clients can have access to lockers. They can store their personal belongings instead of carrying them around with them through the streets every day. So what was also a really major factor to the construction of this room was we worked with a number of suppliers and trade services that kindly donated their products for free. So all of the plywood and the flooring that we see in this room was sourced by the Elenberg Fraser team, and in a relationship base where we were provided with all these products free of charge.
So what other things happen in the space, Mel?
Well, we've had a group where people who are having mental health problems, say hearing voices, they can meet as a group and work through those issues in a more private sort of way. We can have a one-on-one conversation with someone who might be in crisis, bring them up into somewhere a bit more private. We can alter the lighting, but still be overlooked and still be, by other staff, and it can still be a safe place to work. The idea that our shoe clinic or the homeless women's clinic that we run can use this space where it's decked out for a specific purpose on a specific morning or afternoon, the use of this room can change from morning to afternoon to evening. That's the beauty of it. The design of it is very flexible. So while we are at capacity, or frankly over capacity, and needing to maximise the space we have, when you have something that's multi-purpose, it gives you the opportunity to do that, and we just didn't have that before.
Peter, do you want to talk a little bit about colour choices and material choices?
Sure. Part of the brief was to set this feeling of a sense of calm. So the materials that we were sourcing were all natural aesthetic. So we liked materials that were natural timbers and very white and pure type of surfaces. We're very pleased with how the natural and the simplistic and authentic materials have turned out as a composition, and something that feels quite simple yet well designed.
Do you want to elaborate a bit more on the collaboration you spoke about earlier?
Sure. Primarily our collaborators were Hickory. Hickory were fundamental in the process of this project, and not only did they build it, but they helped source products. We worked with their joiners. We had a number of workshops with the client to understand the brief together, and we went through a process where we had consistent site visits so that our young graduate team could understand the building process, and very, very valuable in a graduate architect's development.
Yeah, for sure.
But also the creative collaboration came with, as I mentioned, our suppliers. So, for example, the furniture was donated from a company called Move In, and we use these companies on a day-to-day basis. So it was only natural to ask them to be part of this project with us.
Yeah, it's sort of amazing that companies really do get behind projects like this and contribute in a meaningful way.
That's the standout, the way in which so many got together, people who are probably quite unseen in the process. But when you say you're trying to do something about homelessness, you're trying to do something around giving back to the people most in need in our community, the corporate community rose to that challenge without hesitation. So the opportunity for non-government commercial sector to get involved and do something that was very, very tangible was hugely successful when we found that people wanted to come on board and be part of such a significant project.
And in a sort of silent way as well. They weren't asking to be promoted in any way. There's no company logos on the side of the building or whatever. So no, that's amazing.
Nobody did this to try and look good, to try and advertise themselves. Nobody asked for any particular publicity or acknowledgement or recognition. We've tried to do that because we're so grateful. We think people should get the recognition for the contribution they made, but it was very, very honest around we're trying to do this particular thing for a group who were making a huge difference on homelessness, and without question felt the natural importance of being involved.
Cheryl, tell us about what this project means for you.
It means a lot for me because I never knew about it at first. When I got the word and knowing about the project, it lifted my self-esteem up. I could come in here, socialise and do a lot of stuff that I never thought I'd do. Yeah. And doing art here, self-expression, you can do a lot of stuff, and a lot of the other groups, you've got computers, you've got everything that a person would need to do to survive. Yeah.
And which is your favourite space?
Just in the lounge space where you can sit down, chat with everyone, talk about what they've been through, what I've been through, same situations. It's been great. I've met a lot of friends here.
So it's about storytelling and community and...
Yeah, and sharing stories that you never thought you'd share with someone before.
So you find it extremely therapeutic?
Yes, I do. And it's great for anybody who needs help. They can just come along, introduce themselves to one another, and then it just chain reaction as it goes along.
What art pieces have you created and how has the space inspired you to create?
Well, looking at other people's artwork since primary school age, that's when I noticed my art was coming out of me. I never thought I had it, and have drawn a few art pieces, and people have actually brought them off to me, which gave me the more confidence to get more materials and do more pictures and sell them to people who will appreciate them for a lot longer.
Amazing. Thank you so much for talking to us and sharing your story.
This is our Life Skills Centre, and this kitchen is actually a kitchen like no other. It's a training kitchen, so people are actually learning the skills they need to make a successful transition into housing. So what we have here is training space. The idea is we're not feeding people, they are learning to feed themselves. So it had to be designed around people who could gather in groups and observe around the two different cookers and fridges, and make it very personal and very home-like. So it would be like a kitchen they might end up with, and to be able to have all of the equipment that we need, but also a multi-purpose space. So if we keep on going, you've got this entire room here, and people can gather in groups, and they can work on different projects. All the while there's a kitchen program going on. So they can meet here. The job club meets up here, so they'll be doing job placement and training while there's a music program over there, or a different kind of literacy program or art program. So there'll just be a myriad of activities going on because it's so flexible that we deliberately kept the space open, and a space where you could dismantle things with lightweight furniture that you could move around to whatever purpose you had. We can be doing yoga and Pilates up here. We can have the music group and a choir up here, and not interfere with the other activities that are going on. So a big open space like this, I guess, was a challenge, Peter.
Yeah. Well, I think part of this room is to give clients the ability to produce things, and when they are doing that, they actually take ownership in the decisions they make, whether it's their cooking, what recipe they've decided to choose, what artwork they've produced through one of the communal art sessions upstairs. But it's the next progression from the downstairs living room into gaining the confidence to produce anything and take ownership out of your decisions. So the space is really valuable to the clients in terms of their development, and giving them confidence to basically produce societal basic skill bases, which is, we think, such a great skill for them.
Do you want to talk about these windows and how amazing they are?
Well, this building is an old hosiery warehouse where aptly the name of the lane is named after. So we've done our best to restrain from too much sort of busy aesthetic treatments and take a great feature from these wonderful arch window frames. It's quite an astounding view, watching everybody filter through the lane and in awe of the graffiti, where you sit highly above it in such a inviting space for our clients. It creates a position where they once again have a great sense of place and somewhere where they feel comfortable and a place to call their own.
It's an extremely optimistic and inspiring space, and I think you can really tell that people would enjoy sitting over there or eating or learning over there. So congrats. So Peter, tell us what the most rewarding part of the project was.
To see the space working so effectively and providing such an amazing self-confidence and opportunity through the space has been a very rewarding factor to this project.
Melanie, where to from here?
I think doing the best job that we can with this amazing opportunity, making sure that we innovate and we develop and we make the most of what has been an incredible opportunity.
Thank you so much to both of you for sharing your stories, and we'll see you next week on another Community Designs.